Hi, welcome to today's Piece of Peace. It's been an interesting season of God teaching me quite a few things about His intentions, my interpretation, perspectives, how His intentions, His perspective, and how mine often do not correlate. Where He says, "My ways are higher than your ways." You only know in part, but He knows in full. Could be a season that you're walking through right now as well. Just understanding that we don't understand all of it yet. And trusting Him with the things that aren't going how we anticipated, and what His plan is so much better and more His intention than what we could have done ourselves. So I'm learning more of these lessons. I often feel like our walk with God is in a spiral trajectory. So not that we keep circling around and we don't grow, and we have to experience, relearn things or rehash things that we felt we've already made it through to the other side. But He's showing us that this is just a journey. So I feel like it's a spiral. Like we do make progress. We go around, we kind of visit the same thing again, but we're growing. We're getting closer to being more like Him. And it's just this spiral that keeps happening, but we keep growing. We keep growing. We might have to revisit things because He digs it out in a more profound level. Maybe He's pulling a weed, but the root hasn't gotten out of there yet, as He is the gardener of our hearts. And as we become more like Him and less like ourselves, it's a good thing. So, as painful as it can be, as as painful as it can be. Today I started off my journaling, and I've been taking time in the morning now just to take out my guitar and worship God before I even engage in journaling. So the things I do, I worship, sometimes just instrumentally. I journal right off the bat, just thanking Him for the day, writing out my gratitude and my thankfulness, listening to Him and writing what He says to me. Then I dig into the Word, and then I write out what I'm learning about it, maybe some of the scriptures, and highlighting the pieces that He's given to me that are personal and what He wants me to do with them. And I close out with that little devotional of Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, and then just listen sometimes. Sometimes I feel like we're done. Sometimes I just listen and write out what He's telling me in regards to what He just taught me, and then go about my day. And then the challenging part is to practice His presence throughout the day. Like as I'm going places, include Him in my decision making. Lord, what would you like me to do here? Good morning, Jesus. I love the sunshine. Just having a conversation with Him throughout my day, when I'm driving, when I'm working in the kitchen, when I'm watching my grandchildren, what to speak over them, just including Him throughout the day. Because I think often if we do this like devotional time in the morning, then we call that the relationship part, and then we're off doing whatever we want to do. But He wants to grab a hold of us to start encountering Him throughout our day, because we honestly aren't doing life without Him. We could never. He's always there. It's just sometimes we're ignoring Him or we're engaging with Him. I'd rather engage. So this morning I was expressing to Him in my journal, just thanking Him that I said, Lord, how I love starting our time together in worship of You. I said, thanking Him for an instrumental song that He had given me. And I said, as I worship, I said, it helps me to enter into Your presence each morning. And He responds to me, worship will always prepare your heart for my presence. And I was talking to Him about a dream. I rarely dream. So I have friends who dream all the time. And I'm kind of envious, because I think you get really good sleep when you dream, and some people would argue that. But when I dream, it's rare. So I'm like, hey, I had a dream last night. I just lift it up to God, and I go, I always love interpretation, because I know Joseph interpreted dreams. People interpret dreams all the time. I haven't been a dream interpreter, but I love learning from them. There's been like maybe 3 profound dreams that I knew God was definitely speaking to me through, and they were 2 in particular that were just telling me what was going on in life at that time. And I just was asking for some timing to work out with my son and I trying to connect this morning. But I'll wait for God's interpretation, or I'll let it go when that comes to that dream. However, that's what brought me into our devotion today. So here we go. We're going to be reading in John. This is written by John Blaze. It's the Our Daily Bread. You can order these booklets online. They can send them right to your house. He's titled it The Reason for Writing, and we're going to be in John 20, 24 through 31. So I'll start. Jesus appears to Thomas. Now Thomas, called Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." This is after Jesus was raised from the dead. But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and I put my finger where the nails were, and I put my hand into his side, I will not believe it." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands? Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Don't doubt, and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." He went on to say, Jesus did many other miraculous signs in the presence of his disciples, which were not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. John goes on to write in his devotion, "The Lord is my high tower. We left the camp singing." That's in quotations. "The Lord is my high tower. We left the camp singing." On September 7th, 1943, Eddie Hilsum wrote these words on a postcard and threw it from the train. Those were the final recorded words we would hear from her. On November 30th, 1943, she was murdered at Auschwitz. Later, Hilsum's diaries of her experiences in a concentration camp were translated and published. They chronicled her perspective on the horrors of Nazi occupation, along with the beauty of God's world. Her diaries have been translated into 67 languages, a gift to all who would read and believe the good as well as the bad. The Apostle John didn't sidestep the harsh realities of Jesus' life on earth. He wrote of both the good Jesus did and the challenges he faced. The final word from his gospel gave insight into the purpose behind the book that bears his name, and Jesus performed many other signs, which are not recorded by John. But these, he says, were written that you may believe. John's diary ends on the note of triumph. Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God. The gift of those gospel words allows us the opportunity to believe and have life in his name. The Gospels are diary accounts of God's love for us. They're words to read and believe and share, for they lead us to life. They lead us to Christ. John's charge was this: how might it change the way you read the Gospels if you thought of them as diaries? How are you being led to the heart of Christ through them? Gracious God, this is the prayer. Gracious God, thank you for the gift of the scriptures written down by faith, faithful hands, so that I might believe and have life. Gracious God, thank you for the gift of the scriptures written down by faithful hands, so that I might believe and have life. This is so important. I underlined wanting to maybe read these diaries. And I thought when he got down to that writing of, why don't you look at the Gospels as diaries? What a difference. Like, we're reading about actual life, somebody experienced this. How amazing. How amazing to have walked with Jesus. How amazing. But we get to walk with him every day, and he says, blessed are those who didn't see, but still believe. And that is us. It brought me into Jesus Calling. It's a book written by Sarah Young. She writes. You can download, or you can buy this book online. You used to be able to download an app from it, but I haven't been able to find it lately. She writes from the perspective of God speaking to us, and this is what today's devotion says. Order her book. It's really good. Save your best striving for seeking my face. I am constantly communicating with you. To find me and hear my voice, you must seek me above all else. Anything that you desire more than me becomes an idol. I'm going to repeat that because this is super important to put away our idols in this season of time of repentance and turning back to God. If my people will humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, I will hear them from heaven, forgive their sin, heal their land. But she writes from this perspective of God, saying, anything that you desire more than me, more than God, becomes an idol. When you are determined to get your own way, you blot me out of your consciousness. Instead of single-mindedly pursuing some goal, talk to me about it. Let the light of my presence shine on this pursuit so that you can see it from my perspective. If the goal fits my plan for you, I will help you reach it. If it is contrary to my will for you, I will gradually change the desire of your heart. I love how he says that. If the goal fits into my plans for you, I will help you reach it. If it is contrary to my will for you, I will gradually change the desires of your heart. Seek me first and foremost. Then the rest of your life will fall into place, piece by piece. And that is today's piece of peace. God bless you.